But more importantly, clarifying so many myths, misconceptions, and misinformation lately about AI. So if you'll give me 40 minutes, I want to go through 10 of the biggest and most egregious myths or misunderstandings about this truly, yes, revolutionary, but really rehumanizing technology. Technology is working for us so that we can work at the top of our talents more and more of our time. So I'm going to start us off with one of the biggest ones, and that is the following: that AI will compete with humans. Nope, it collaborates. Here's the deal. It is a complementary relationship because, I don't know about you, but what the AIs do well, I may not do so well. But what we as humans do extraordinarily well, the AIs got nothing on that. Folks, when it comes down to it, and my students, who are executives, I've been reskilling at Rutgers Business School for 12 years now, when they ask how best to compete with AI, I say, easy, don't. What you have is what you were born with, being human. These are to elevate and assist us, and they're going to elevate, assist, and collaborate with us in nearly every way possible. In fact, we've always been a human-machine civilization, right? The GPS in your car, the Excel spreadsheets you use at tax season, the smartphones in your hands right now. But now we're moving from working on machines to working with machines. And we're going to collaborate with them in nearly every way possible. First and foremost, allowing a tutor for every kid. Think about it right now. To have a tutor as a kid, right, is the exception, not the rule, because it's gone to those who can afford it. But why not redo the model and have a tutor for every kid, and not just to help in weakness areas, but to help with strengths? Let's go one step further. In a time of mass reskilling that I'll go over in a few more slides, why do we stop having tutors after K through 12 or undergrad? Mentors are important, but you know what? In a time when everything is changing so fast, I could certainly use a tutor. Here is my model. 50% up here at stage talking, speaking, teaching, 50% exactly where you are. You might have noticed I was here yesterday because I'm learning. I take every single opportunity. Mama didn't raise a fool. In a time of acceleration, every single opportunity to keep learning. Second, brainstorming story development. You know that strike that just went on with the Writers Guild? And you saw, and I was on the side of the writers, of course, but you saw in the papers how it was against AI. Do you know what the contract is that actually came to pass? One, the writers want to work with AI when they deem it that they want to work with AI, and all the storylines, all that data, all of that IP is credited to them. So it was in their control. We are working with these technologies, not on them. Preventing wildfires from getting out of control. We have gone from, by having an AI that doesn't sleep, doesn't take a break, doesn't get hungry, is constantly scanning through low orbit satellites for hotspots, we have gone from detecting fire in 40 minutes to 4. That is a difference, orders of magnitude. Here's one. We talk about our health and how it's the most important thing. You know, probably my favorite saying is that when you're healthy, you got a million problems. Your partner's making you crazy. You want to raise. You want to lose that last 5 to 7 pounds. But when you're sick, you have one problem. Get healthy, right? And when we talk about biosensors and nanobots, it sounds like, whoa, future, big brother. Actually, it could be big mother. How? I bet if I ask you right now, what's the health of your stock portfolio? How are your AdWords doing on Google? You could fire up a cloud software and find out in 10 minutes, yeah? But if I truly ask you, what's the state of your health? Well, I went to my doctor for my 30-minute annual this year, and my blood pressure is 120/80, so I'm doing well. We don't truly know, even though our bodies, our environment is giving off data all the time, the most important relationship we have to ourselves, us and our health. But that becomes completely opaque. But with AIs watching out for us, we get more cures to more diseases in phase 1. Here's a stat, a chilling stat that's actually quite personal to me and my family. Ovarian cancer, detected in stage 1, 95% survival rate. Detected in stage 3, 5%. We need more AIs looking out for more of our health, more of the time. Here is 2 sets of the population we have done terribly by. First, by those with vision disabilities and challenges. We have Google Maps. Folks, they need AIs. AIs now have eyes and ears to map out the world, to make the world larger, more confident. And second, too many of our elderly are being put into homes or with assisted living when all they need is an assistant to check in with them. I love what they're doing in Japan. They're using robots to actually record oral history from so many of our elders that we would otherwise have lost. So yes, we will collaborate, not compete. Number 2, AIs will automate jobs. AIs will actually elevate jobs. Now, no question, about 5% overall of jobs will change, go away, come into new jobs, but most jobs will be elevated, and this is what I mean. AI's purpose in the modern world, write this down even though you have this slide, is to assist, to amplify, and to elevate we humans, what a concept, in our work and make the most of 2 things, our time and our talents. I want each of you working at the top of your talents, getting away from machines and more with humans. I know, what a concept, in order to maximize your time. Whether that goes from elevating your job from just coding software to finding out, hey, what could be solved by new software and code? Here's an important one. The most important discovery, hands down, of the 21st century, sequencing the human genome, right? But what we missed so much here is we would sequence human genomes and we would give patients the content. And they would understand, okay, these are certain afflictions or diseases I'm predisposed to. Predisposed, not predetermined. But then it was like, here you go, and a bill for $5,000, right? What we missed was elevating the role from just machines and AIs to the human who works with you on a regimen, content, context, so that you can stave off those possible illnesses. So it's to elevate our job. And quite frankly, it'll elevate our job because it'll play a lot of roles. It'll play roles, everything from creative companions, from writing and editing and art, to customer interaction sidekick. This does not replace CSRs. It amplifies them. It gives them the information they need at the time they need it. Because what y'all do so well, one part of what you do so well, is the training and upping the confidence levels and how long in training versus nesting. When do they go out on their own? They never have to always go out on their own because they have a sidekick, especially in highly regulated industries. Take insurance, where every single state has different regulations. You need that information at the time that you need it. Or an upsell opportunity, a data whiz, as well as an innovation guru. I use it a lot to help teach me, to give me quizzes all the time, to reinforce my knowledge, because believe it or not, I'm not an AI. I can't download a large language model all at once. I'm a slower learner. I need to reinforce. But it's to elevate and amplify the human experience. Number 3, okay, If we're going to take anything away from this speech, and I hope you take 10 gems, this is the one. This is the one that's getting no play, but will make all the difference going forward. The real AI job story is not replacement. It's reskilling. You know how when you have a magician and they want you look over here while they're doing the sleight of hand over here? The distractions in the papers right now with the scintillating, provocative headlines of all of the job losses and all that, what they're not talking about nearly enough is reskilling. Reskilling is a strategic imperative. And this is where I contend you can do so well by your entire companies, no matter how large, small, mid-size, why? Because you have that competency in training, right? And here to understand, we invest in R&D, research and development. Yet too many of the times we say we spend on L&D, learning and development. And if you think about it, every company says, hey, our people are our greatest resource and our greatest asset, and they are. But we are now in a time when we are going to have ongoing reskilling as part of the job, not an extra thing. You know what the pandemic taught us? The pandemic taught us that it wasn't just about efficiency, right? It was about resiliency. And it didn't just create the problems we found. It actually unveiled and made them apparent what we needed to work on. What we need to work on is being better reskillers all the way through. Because here's one you can use with your committees. People aren't as easily updated as apps. Folks, people are not as easily updated as apps. And the best, Microsoft was spiraling into obsolescence in 2013 when Satya Nadella, CEO, took the helm and said, we need to build a continuous learning culture. And I have peeps and colleagues and clients there, and they're like, he really means it. His book, Refresh, constantly inventing and reinventing, and that starts with people. Here's another one. Culture isn't what a company makes, it's the people and the priorities that make up the company. So when it comes to reskilling, here's some big news here. Reskilling becomes a strategic imperative. I say the new normal is employers become the new educators, right? Because 40% of employees require reskilling over the next 3 years. Wowza, meowza. That could balloon up to 50% by 2025 and up to 90% by 2030. And here's why. Because we are not in the age of AI. We are not in the period of permanent revolution. We are not in a decade of disruption. What we're in is the age of acceleration. Yes, AI is the most transformative that we've had. And when I say AI, I'm including generative AI, I'm including traditional AI, I'm including conversational AI, I'm including the whole shebang, right? But understand that we are in the age of acceleration because we all know the first part of the sentence. Change has never before happened so fast, right? But this is the important part. And it will never be this slow again. We have faster machines doing faster machines things. We need to keep up. The nice thing about this time is that this technology, who here has used a ChatGPT or a Claude or any of those, right? You know what's gorgeous about them? English, I didn't make this up, I wish I did. English is the hottest programming language. Finally, it's simplicity. It's simplicity to work with them. 2, immediacy, the benefit. With traditional AI, I get benefits in 30, 60, 90 days, 6 months. That's amazing. But you know what? With ChatGPT, bam, I see the results. And affordability. Now, I'll let you know, my company is rather small. In fact, my company is a nano business. I'll go one step further. My entire company is up here at stage right now. Folks, I don't have $1 million budget, and that really grinds my gears, but we'll talk about that in cocktail hour. Anyhow, but I can afford these systems. So that's what's coming. And here's the thing. The simpler it is to use, the more we'll use it. The more we'll use it, the better it will get. The better it will get, the more we'll use it. You get it. So it's easier and easier to keep up reskilling. I know we're not supposed to bring up competitive quotes here, but it makes my case. Career-wise, we make, on average, 15% more with digital literacy, up to 36% more with AI skills. And I'm talking AI skills as easy as it will be to stream a Netflix movie. That comes to us by, you can put it together, they start with I, they end with M, there's a B in the middle. Okay, up to 15 trillion in lost revenue if we don't get on board with this. I'm going to get into the human aspects in a few slides, but it's been my experience through 25 years in different technologies that when there is a revenue line to be made as large as this, companies start to take notice. So 3 things on reskilling as a strategic imperative. 1, companies have to commit. What this means is they literally need to commit to systems that don't overload employees with more on their plate. It's part of the job. The best cultures, the best leaders make the best cultures, but the best cultures, quite frankly, are curious. And as humans, we are curious by nature, so this makes a lot of sense. Second, personalizing. Have learning pathways that are both open to all and trainings, but also encourage employees to take their time and say, this is a great conference, this is a great podcast. Personalize things. And this is where y'all really rock, is get creative. You're already creative with simulations, gamification, the like. Learning, honestly, can be a heck of a lot of fun, especially with these technologies. It needs to be part of our culture. So number 4, the rise of the robots will dehumanize, rehumanize us. The robots aren't going to rob us of our humanity. In fact, they'll do a lot to restore it. The robots aren't taking our job. I hate to tell you guys this. We've been doing the job of the robots for far too long. I hope you didn't get that. Here's where it comes down. I love how any manufacturing here in the audience, any manufacturing industry, I love what they come up with, the 3Ds. They have cobots, collaborative robots that help with the 3Ds, the dull, the dirty, and most importantly, the dangerous. Everyone's going to talk about the rise of the robots over here. Don't look at those magicians, that's distraction. Listen to CK. While the rise of the robots is getting all the headlines, the real news is the human renaissance. You know what went up in price and value during the industrialized revolution when we could create the billions of widgets for pennies on the dollar? Handmade goods, premium goods. History repeats itself. It's just easy to look back at what tech will replace, hard to look forward at what it will create. And what it will create is a very human renaissance. Why? 3 key factors here. Human skills. Soft skills are back, baby. And it's really cute to see students being like, how do I do that? And I'm like, you're born with these skills. In the age of acceleration, for a gold star, what is the number 1 skill you need to succeed? In the age of acceleration, when not 1, not 2, not 5, but 10 plus tech are being thrown at us. What's the number 1 skill? Innovation? Loud and proud. I can't hear you otherwise. Communication, adaptability, curiosity, leadership. No matter how connected that autonomous car might get, you still got to tell it where to go, folks. Soft skills, STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics were the first 10 of the most in-demand skills. Finally, in the last 24 months, you still need digital literacy. But finally, it's become evident that what we're missing are these soft skills, team building and the like. Human talent. Ooh, this is another thing and not enough companies are talking about, but they're going to be talking about it. We have a talent crisis. In a time with billions and billions and billions of AIs, what becomes really precious? Humans. Folks, up to 85 million globally, unfilled jobs by 2030. We need to understand that it's a time when humans, and luckily in the US, we still have the talent drought, but overseas, this is a global problem. India has a mandate, 20% of women working by 2030. Poor Japan, they are shutting down middle schools because the population is dwindling. Folks, we are in a need of more human talent. And really important, and this will hit home for you, human experience. The better our human-to-machine insights, the better our human-to-human relationships. How? Because when machines can do things that take up our time, take Starbucks. They use these digital tools to elevate the analog human experience. Why? They want to free their staff to be more what? Human. You're going to see this. By the way, you're also going to see a lot of companies, and I understand they could be forgiven for this, and they're going to get SOS. What is SOS? Shiny object syndrome. They're going to be looking over here at all the AIs, and those AIs are pretty, and those tech are fun, but it's all about assisting, rehumanizing, and elevating the human experience. Now, my mama told me never to play favorites, or at least not to admit to them, so I hope you'll forgive me, but this is probably one of my most faves. And when it comes down to it, in an AI world, the most valuable skill, everyone's so nervous, those machines are going to have all the answers. What's my value as a human? When in fact, your value as a human is to ask the right questions. Before you can solve a problem, you have to identify a problem. How many parents do I have out there? Show of hands. Does anyone remember the stage at right around 33 to 36 months? The why stage? Why is the sky blue? Why is the sun yellow? Why does snow happen during this time? Why are there 24 hours in a day? My favorite. Why does Christmas come but once a year? Folks, why and curious is our default. It's our go-to. Asking the right questions, because critical thinking, a soft skill, if ever there were one, at its core is questioning. So the smartest guys in the room aren't giving all the answers. They're formulating the right questions. Apple, an innovator. But are they? Now, I love Apple products. I respect the heck out of them. But what I really love is what Time magazine said back in 2014. At its core, Apple is not an innovator. It practices a far grislier trade. Resurrection. Every single product they come up with and dominate the market is a question of questions. Smartphones, they weren't the first, but they did it better. Tablets, they weren't the first. Heck, they came out with a credit card. Where's my MasterCard, Visa? Where's my credit card issuers in here? They weren't the first to come up with it, but they are looking around to say, where are companies getting it right? Where are they getting it wrong? Where's a niche for this? How can we improve upon it? Innovation comes in all stripes, types, and flavors, but every improvement, advancement, discovery has always started with a question. And that can be why or why not. 21st century winners will have the best budgets. Budgets help, but no. SEO is still going to be important in an AI world, but no, it's the ideas. This one is particularly inspiring for a lot of my marketer friends, and here's why. The web democratized information, and it brought down obstacles for having a business. Mobile democratized buying anything, anywhere, right? And cloud democratized like software and collaboration. But what we do in AI, or age of ideas, generative AI democratizes the actual process of creation. How? Well, it makes it affordable, accessible, and scalable. So back in the 50s, in your 3 martini lunches, budgets were the function of how you got popular or you got your brand awareness. And then we came to the turn of the century and all the SEO in the 21st century and scale. How much content could you produce that was created perfectly around and optimized around keywords? And that's how Google, with a list of answers that's going to look oh so antiquated, oh so soon, because you have a whole list of answers and all that friction to go to 10 different places to find what you need. The point and click web will very shortly become a punchline. It's going to, write this down, describe and done. Whether it's describe and done through an LLM or at your site itself, bringing the user, bringing the customer to that right answer, right? But now, ideas can break through because you can better afford the process of creation, and then you can use social networks. Look at what TikTok is doing. It's gone from Facebook's social graph to an interest graph. So it truly is a time when the process of creation has become democratized. To win in the 21st century, in the modern age, in the acceleration age, businesses must focus on AI. Nope, but they will, and they'll blow it this way. Folks, always focus on the humans. I have been teaching this for quite a while, but it was Marshall McLuhan or Marshall McLuhan's colleague that said this great saying: first we shape our tools, and then they shape us. You know what's a great and in some ways really bad example of this? Our smartphones. I contend that the mobile revolution had nothing to do with devices, because it wasn't about how we changed to mobile, for better or really ill. It's about how mobile changed us. And wasn't it nice when you had all the information in the palm of your hand? You suddenly became so patient. You were so grateful for it. And for some reason, we get in a lot of fights with a lot of strangers on the internet, and we post a lot of pictures about cats. We'll get into that later at cocktail. But the point is this: it was about how mobile changed us. It was always about the behaviors and expectations. No matter the technology, I always tell my students, look to the humans. How is it changing their expectations, their behaviors? How is it changing what they expect from us? I call it the expectation economy. Folks, you think that our customers got impatient and really demanding in a time of mobile? Oh, we ain't seen nothing yet. Because remember back in 2010 when it was so cool to have all that information in real time? Does anyone remember when real time was really cool? Because that's rear view now, baby. That's so 2010. Now, predict what I need before I need it, fulfill it. And they're not just saying personalized. They keep telling me, CK, it's hyper-personalized. I'm like me? Like hyper? And they're like, no, it's so personalized that it's hyper-personalized. Every single thing. Our expectations will go through the roof. But the beauty is, those companies that will continue to focus on human wants, needs, expectations, and behaviors, oh, the future is very bright there. Again, human, rehumanizing. It's all about collaborating, assisting, elevating. Not all this shock and awe. It's the wonder and awe of a world that is revolutionized, rehumanized, elevated, and assisted through these technologies. Remember this, 3 things. Technology is always tool. Cool tool, awesome tool, but tool. The strategy is always reinvention. And the goal is relevance. And at a time when even the sharpest tech darlings like Netflix, do I have Netflix in the room? Even better. In a time when Netflix is getting creamed by being lazy for 3 whole years. You ain't the only streamer in town, baby. Look at how much we have to reinvent. Heck, with Netflix, let's count them. First, DVDs by mail. How quaint. Second business model, a couple of years later, streaming. Third business model went to original content. Then they went to gaming. Then they started buying up physical theaters. And then they went from sharing is caring with your password to, oh no, don't you be going there. I need the money, right? Folks, at a time when these companies need to reinvent themselves, always keep that in mind. Technology is tool, strategy is reinvention, and relevance is the goal. These are here to serve you. AI requires new strategies. It does, and it requires new programs, and it requires a new culture. But let's keep in mind, when we're taking the most transformative technology in all time and just plopping it on top of an old world model, well, you start to wonder, all those labor strikes start to make a lot of sense. The business model must be created to work with these amazing technologies. And you ask yourself this simple yet elaborate question. If these tools were available to us at the time of our inception, how would our business be different? I'm going to give you 3 examples, okay? First, healthcare. Owe myself a damn quarter. We don't practice healthcare. What do we practice? Sick care. So take me. I go to my doctor, and no, that's a lie. I go to WebMD, I find out the most fatal damn thing I could possibly have. I then go to my doctor, I tell him what I have, and tell him what I need. And every time he says, this is really nice, it never gets old, CK. Can I do my job now? And he's right. Folks, when it comes down to it, AI allows us to flip that model. And that's when sick care truly becomes health care, right? Second, education. Right now, we're having big discussions about children should not be allowed to use ChatGPT because they might cheat. I get it. And when they graduate, it's a little odd that we then want them to be experts in these tools. But the bigger conversation needs to be the following. Why aren't we flipping the model so we avoid that altogether? Unless the parents in the room really love coming home from a long day of work and having to become a French tutor, a math tutor, help your kids with geometry, right? Flip the model. Have the homework be the lecture by the teacher and do the homework in class when they need the most help. Critical thinking, what a concept. And here's the biggest thing of all. I'm thinking like this, and I don't have kids, so I have to imagine it's going to help a lot of parents, a lot of families, a lot of kids be really ready for a time when reskilling is an ongoing necessity. And third, agriculture. I love it here because with agriculture, what we've been doing is spraying entire fields and crops for good reason. We need pesticides. We need to take care of the food supply. But an AI has machine vision. It can just pluck the weed. We're using 90% less pesticides because we're collaborating with machines. So all of these ways have us take a step back and say we can't just take a transformative technology and plop it on the existing model. It's a real opportunity for us to really rethink those models in the first place. In the future, now AIs, we will focus on AI. Nope. Finally, thank goodness we're getting there. We have been fixated on a worldwide web for the last 25 years. Heck, show of hands, who here has sent a text on their smartphone just since I've been up at stage? I've sent 2. Okay, well, I think it's good to be honest. But here's what it comes down to. Our smartphones are important, but they're not smart. They are not smart. And they are in the middle of all our interactions. Finally, with AI, they can be smarter because we still need technology, but we have so much input for so little output. But finally, with these smart systems, technology overall can start focusing on us. How? Well, it's getting a lot more physical with IoT and connected places and spaces and environments, right? It's becoming a lot more of that. It's also actually becoming much more conversational. I love this one. The new interface is gestural. What Apple just came out with, I don't own any Apple stock, by the way, but with their smartwatch, finally, you can tap, and that's how you speak to the phone. It is, like now, it's going to be that our ovens, our microwaves are going to require more IT than a lot of our systems, right? And also, just the space all around us. The future's laughing at us that we use these little computers, and we're so excited when our smartphones get so big and our iPads get so little. And people are like, there's all this environment all around you could be using. Which, again, really grinds my gears that I don't have holography for all y'all out there, but soon, soon. Another thing, it gets personal, and it also gets to be answers. Right now, we think the web is so cool because it gives us answers. Within 2 to 3 years, I can use these LLMs and I can say, please don't just draft an email for me, but find 10 contacts for me in this area. It will start taking more actions. And by the way, LLMs, AI is not set it and forget it. What you don't do as writer anymore, you might find you become editor. And that's okay. We're elevating those jobs. And number 10, this is perhaps most important, is the best thing that we're going to get from these systems, we're going to get from AI, isn't tools. It's time. It's not what it's taking on for us or away from us. It's what it's giving back. We were talking yesterday about how we need more meetings to break down those silos. AI can't do that. People do that, but people need more time. Unless, of course, you feel like you're not getting enough email to contend with, enough collaboration, enough of these things that you could be afforded more time to work at the top of your talent and tools and with your team because AI is taking on part of that for you. And the part that it's taking on for you is not a part that is where you are working at the top of your time and tools. So I want to leave us on a bit of a laugh here, and I want us just spitballing to see if we know, out of an average 78-year life, right, how much time in aggregate we spend on some very basic opportunities. You don't get a prize for this, you get bragging rights, okay? Because it's not what AI will take on, it's what it will give us back professionally and personally. It is going to give us more time to spend on the projects, passions, and people that we value the most. It gives me more time already for research, which is incredibly important to me. I'm only as good as I am learning with my model, right? But let's just say, who will give me an idea here? How much out of a 78-year life, I'm talking years and months, do you think we spend driving? Start me off, please. 5 years. I got 5 years. Over, under. 8 years. You live in California. 5 years. 8 years. Listen, I'm a New York City gal. I'm still getting used to all this. 5 years, 8 years. On average, 4 years of your life. Let's keep going. Waiting in a line. The future is going to be like so many people that were all, down at their phones. Like, why? How much time do you think we spend waiting in line, physically in line?
A year.
A year and a half. Jesus God.
3 years.
6 months. Some say as much as 10 months. Oh, I'm not done yet. Waiting on hold.
75 years.
75 years. It's not as bad as you think. It's only 1.5 months of your life. I mean, you could be on a beach sipping Mai Tais with Jacques. But no, you're waiting on hold. Doing chores. This is everything from going to the grocery store to cleaning that oven, to cleaning that dryer vent. Damn, I forgot to clean that dryer. Okay. 97 years. 4 to 6 years. And I am not trying to be sexist here, which totes means I'm being sexist. I believe that 6 years is women. Do you know that globally, if women, all the work we do was counted in GDP, Globally, upwards of 25 to 30% more. Here are a couple more to leave you on. Women, we supposedly spend 2 years getting ready and deciding what to wear, which is an investment. Gentlemen, you spend 3 years looking at us. And we spend a year to a year and a half hungover. How many years are we drinking? So I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to hand it over to the most fabulous presenter, JMP, but I'm going to tell you this. We're hearing a lot about AI. I get it. We are bombarded, but we're not getting the right message. And the right message is that AI is not shock and awe. It's wonder and awe of rehumanized, reskilled, elevated, and amplified. And it's always there to work for us. Thank you so much.